Hi, this is Dan Contrares again, back again with the quote, Dr. Dan Show, small d. I'm not a real doctor, just for any people who want to question my validity to do this show. But I have years of experience. That's my doctor, if anything, just years of it. Along with my friend, dear friend, Javier Gomez. I've known him, how many years? 40 years, maybe? Close?
Pretty close there. 41 years.
Yeah, so, you know, we're...
That's when we were babies.
Babies.
And we had a face.
Right. We've worked together in many things, including back in 79, 78, we worked in the Bares Unidos Youth Conference, which was held at the Inter Fairgrounds on May 8th. And Javier had a play, he's a playwright, local playwright, Teatro Inlakech. And he had a play, it was called Trucha La Revancha. I remember Revancha. Trucha.
And Danny happened to be our musician.
Right. And I played for the first time publicly, and it was a song called Babyface or Mijo. And actually, Javier liked it, but you know, he makes fun of me, but that goes beyond whatever.
No, it was very poignant.
Yeah. The words are, it's a story. It's a corrido in English, the Babyface, actually. And, anyway, with Javier, the main reason I invited him to speak here with me, or discussion, is dealing with the upcoming celebration event for the one and only Cesar Chavez, who passed away. How many years has he been passed now?
93.
93. Oh my God, it seemed
like
not that far. That seemed less for some reason for me.
Yeah.
But 93, that's been
21 years.
21 years. Wow, amazing.
21 years.
Great man. And just a little history of myself. That back in 75, I was at Cal State Northridge, and we had my first march, and we marched for Cesar Chavez because he was speaking at Cal State Northridge, and the student body, whatever, refused to pay him the correct amount of money as a professional speaker. They paid Doshi Dayan, Jewish speaker, top dollar, but Chavez, oh no, he gets half, he gets a third. No. So we protested. And I did my story. I was a writer, and I wrote my story as we marched and all that on campus. And then at the end, I got to see him close up. Didn't get talking, but I saw, oh my God, this little man is this genius, this my idol, whatever, you know. But great energy, great. You felt his presence. I did it.
Well, back in 1969, when I first enrolled into Northridge, you know, I got to see Teatro Campesino and got invited to go to La Paz, not La Paz, to Delano. And La Paz is the new location, but we went to Delano, and Cesar was outside of the compound, and with his dogs, you know, Boycott and Huelga. And then we went inside, and he went to a desk, a real small desk, and he sat down and started reading his books, you know. And my friend Chucky Poo, who's like around 6'4", weighed around 400 pounds. You know, he goes, "Hey, Cesar," you know, and he just looks up at Carlos, and you know, so we got to meet him. I was still very shy, you know. I was a shy person. I don't. To me, people of a great stature and honor, you know, I always hold back because, you know, I always am in awe of the power of what somebody can do to change the course of history. You know, Cesar Chavez had a tremendous influence, not only on myself and all my friends at Northridge. So from '69, we used to see Cesar Chavez come over periodically to our campus and
on a regular basis,
and partake with what we were doing, because, you know, I think Cesar learned very early on, you know, that it wasn't just going to be the campesinos that were going to make a difference out in the fields, in the farm fields. But it had to come in also in the communities, where people that go shop at Safeway or markets that are selling non-union lettuce or non-union grapes, you know, we had to stop that. And so he encouraged us to help him out and going and boycotting, you know, Safeway markets, you know. So we were out there, you know,
and
boycotting.
by the way, Cesar Chavez was a Mexican American. He was born here.
He was born here, yeah.
In Arizona, I believe?
Yeah, he was born in Arizona, Yuma, Arizona.
And then he came to Oxnard for a little bit?
He came to Oxnard periodically. His family, they migrated because once they lost their farm,
oh yes,
you know, they lost, you know, they had a farm and they had a store, and after, you know, all of that was depleted, you know, they had to join the rest of the workforce and to go out into the fields and work in the campos, you know, and obviously California was one of those magnets that drew him in.
Right, correct.
I know that him and his brother fell in love with Oxnard in particular because of the ocean. They liked the sea, and they would go to Hueneme, you know. Of all things, you know, you can imagine Cesar Chavez out there sitting in the
Do you
sun.
think they might sing that famous song? No, cerca del mar.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
You
never know.
Well, you never know, you know, and you know, and that drew him here. But also, I think, you know, in the earlier years when he was a member of the CSO, the Community Service Organization, and how he started working and how he was recruited to, you know, work as an organizer because of his, you know, his ability to communicate and really express to people, you know, the importance of what it took, you know, to organize for campesinos. He was a little bit upset with the organization because it didn't want to focus on the issues of campesinos, and he was concerned about
The CSO, he was
well, yeah,
kind of
because
critical.
he was critical. He wanted to help out farm workers
More
because they didn't
direct.
have
Direct.
and the company didn't want to, and it says, hey, no, we have larger things to deal with, and so, you know, I think that's what set him to really begin to think that, you know what, we have to do something uniquely different to help organize, you know, to better the life of campesinos. And let's not only get people to register to vote, but let's, you know, these campesinos can't vote because they can't register, you know, as non-citizens, you know, and so his efforts, you know, were championed also by when he met a young lady by the name of Dolores Huerta, you know, and in
Where did she
collaboration.
come out of?
She was working in the same office with him, and
Raised
you
here
know,
in California?
yeah, in California, and then
Okay, I didn't know.
and then it was a connection between both of them. They hit it off and said, you know, you're right, you know. So their long pláticas turned into, you know, strategy sessions that it laid the foundation for the birth of the UFW, you know, union, and you know, obviously, you know, I think Cesar was always a student of history, and knowing that Oxnard is the cradle of the first strike that took place in the United States, union strike, organized by Mexicanos,
When did that happen?
and 1903.
Great.
You know, against the Oxnard brothers when their wages were being sliced in half. The Japanese and the Mexicanos united, and when they united, they were just a force to be reckoned with, and they're the ones who forced the Oxnard brothers to give them back their wages, because they were, imagine, working for 50 cents a day, and the Oxnard brothers wanted to pay them only 25 cents, and that's when they said, "Chale," you know, and I think that set in his mind, and I think that just the injustices of what was going on in the fields, you know, what, campesinos not having a time for a bathroom break, a time to, or having water, or having a break time, you know, or having, you know, I mean, what, campesinos, if they weren't working, they can't get unemployment benefits.
Right, there was
You know,
none.
there was none for them. So they didn't qualify. They were not citizens. So, you know, so the champion of this great movement that was created by was this. Yeah, you're right. He was a short little guy, but he had a, you know, como va el dicho, you know, chiquito pero picoso, you know, and he was bravo. And,
Yes.
and likewise, if you ever met Dolores is a brava woman. You know, you know, I mean, she had to really stand up to
And
to
in
the
that
industry.
respect, for Chavez, seemed to be like a feminist, or the equality of women to be part of the actual organizing even.
Well,
He
yeah.
wasn't a chauvinist at all.
He was no. I think he was a humanist, but he also was a very rational person, realizing the roles. Because if you look at everything that he did, if you study why did he use the Virgen de Guadalupe? Yeah, I mean, he was religious.
Catholic.
But mira, what's the champion patron of all Mexicanos?
La
La Virgen de
Guadalupe.
Guadalupe. You know, and I think that as a faithful man, he knew that, you know, when you got the spiritual strength, you can overcome anything. And you got the conviction that, you know, you have to change what's wrong. You know, I think he was one of those few people that saw a situation and said, you know, something has to be done. And he looked over his shoulder and around him, nobody else was standing behind him in the beginning. And he stood up and he fought and he convinced everybody and he showed everybody.
Just for clarification, what year do you recollect his first year of really organizing started? What year?
You know, I think
sure.
when he was part of the CSO, I want to say there's another. Fred Ross was the one that recruited Cesar Chavez to organize.
Who's he? Who's Fred Ross?
Fred Ross was a communist organizer. But
Okay,
you know, he trained and he taught Cesar organizational skills that proved to be extremely effective to the very day. And he's the one in Los Angeles that helped organize a voter registration drive that he and the team to the point raised enough votes in Los Angeles, over 100,000 people that they got registered.
Impressive.
And it was through him, it was through his efforts that Fred Ross and many of the people in that community saw that this man was just not any ordinary man. And that's when he started raising the question in the assembly, you know, hey, what about the Mexicanos? I said, what about them?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everybody else is white,
Right.
but, you know, what about those Mexicanos? And that's when he began to say, you know what, we have to do something for ourselves. We have to change something. And so, you know, now, you know, this year we're fortunate enough that finally a movie has been made about his life.
Professional
a
Hollywood.
professional Hollywood, you know, full-length production that you know the public needs to come and see.
Who plays Chavez? It's
Miguel Peña.
Peña, well-known actor, actually.
Right, yes.
Good actor.
yes.
Good actor.
You know, good actor, and Diego Luna is the director, and you know, I know that the interpretation is that, you know, you got Mexicanos and you know, Latino types in the movie, and we're fortunate that, you know, this movie is going to open up the door. I think for the meaning, the impact of the movie Cesar Chavez to the total benefit of our community is to showcase that we had a history and that there are people that cannot be forgotten. And for our children, the new generation, as we were talking earlier, you know, new generation, yeah, they heard of Cesar Chavez, you know, but they really don't know who he is. They heard, you know, that there's a holiday that somebody is trying to get together, but they weren't there in the forefront when people were being beaten by the police or the Teamsters, because they were trying to, they were boycotting, you know, certain farms that weren't willing to negotiate fair wages with the workers. They weren't there to see their parents being beaten, women being beaten, clobbered. And
one point, Javier, you mentioned Teamsters. Did they have a positive role with Chavez?
No, in the beginning, the Teamsters feared the farm workers because they were cutting off their livelihood, because the Teamsters were the ones working with the growers, because they were transporting the products all over, and so when the growers said, hey, you know, these little dirty Mexicans over there, they're causing problems for us.
Right.
And in the beginning, and later on, finally the Teamsters realized, the AFL-CIO realized, you know what, I think we're on the wrong side, because they were the ones who created a lot more harm to the union, you know. And so, as the old saying goes, you know, they saw they're wrong, you know, and they turned around and became part of the you know, they affiliated themselves with the United Farm Workers Union, and they took them under their arms. You know, once that happened, you know, the doors opened up, you know. So, you know, I know that the struggle.
The AFL-CIO did help In the end.
towards the end.
Towards the
Yeah,
end.
yeah, they saw the benefit.
Right.
They saw the benefit. They saw, hey, this guy's talking about better wages. We want better wages.
Right.
Protection,
Working conditions.
benefits, working conditions. Oh, he's talking all about those things are the issues that they themselves wanted to keep as well. So, so the thing is that Cesar Chavez was a leader that needs to be recognized, that we can't forget of the struggle. It's just like, I look at when we were marching in Los Angeles and going against the stores and boycotting and protesting the war in Vietnam, all of that was all tied in. And that was an indirect influence by Cesar Chavez, because his outreach was not only about the justice in the fields, it was about justice in our communities. The treatment, the equal and fair treatment of Mexicanos in communities when police are brutalizing certain citizens that they went into a community and the violence erupted, and so it transformed itself where it empowered a lot of us to say, ya basta. We have to stand up. We have to learn how to speak about the
Pretty
issues.
much, it seemed, UFW struggle was, in fact, eventually tied up with the Chicano movement in the late 60s.
Sure.
Kind of the same,
Yeah.
same boat.
It was the stream of water that branched off and opened up the flow of the strength in people. In education, for people like myself who became educators, going into the classroom and making sure that our students had bilingual education, that their culture was being respected, that their history was being respected, that they were receiving the equal amount of treatment and services that all students are deserving of. Those are all inspirations of Cesar Chavez. That's what when I got to listen to him and to listen to Luis Valdez, who was a protege of Cesar Chavez. He began to talk about the dreams that Cesar Chavez
Did we say
had.
Luis
Luis Valdez.
Luis who?
Luis Valdez was the founder of El Teatro Campesino. He was a graduate from San Jose State. Joined a theater company called the Mine Troupe, and then that was in the 60s.
Right.
In 64, when he heard about 2 weeks after the United Farm Workers struggle started, when he heard about it, he dropped everything to join the UFW because his roots is deeply embedded in the farm fields. His parents were farm workers. His family his relatives were all farm workers, and so. And as well, he was a farm worker, but he had a cabeza. He was intelligent, and he got to go to the university and better himself. And so when he came and joined, he came to champion the struggle of Cesar Chavez. But as a consequence, his influence in theater and all of this got him to the point where I said, after when they were holding meetings, he wanted to inspire his workers. He wanted to inspire them through the use of theater and canto. And Luis Valdez, that's when he created El Teatro Campesino. What was it made out of? Campesinos. It were the campesinos that he took. Felipe Cantú, he said, Felipe, tú vente para acá. You're going to pay the role of the contratista. Oh, no, yo no quiero. And he created these characters that, wow, and Teatro Campesino became the arm of the UFW, because it helped raise money. But Luis Valdez, it grew so much that Teatro Campesino became the birth, not only the struggle of the UFW, but also the creation of a new era of Chicano theater that was being written by Latinos, that now Hollywood is influenced. The end result of this movie, Cesar Chavez, is the end product of what happened back in the campus, back in 1964.
What was Valdez's main accomplishment with the movie? Not that it was, well, it wasn't really good.
Well,
the movie he made.
In the movie La Bamba, he made Zoot Suit, so he went into the industry.
Yeah.
And the industry courted him, and his greatest success was La Bamba. Its greatest success was, recreating the life story of Richie Valens from San Fernando, a campesino, from a campesino family, and, it's interesting that my father-in-law tells me, oh yeah, I knew Connie. Connie happens to be Richie Valens' mother. Says, she worked, she was lazy, This is my father-in-law telling me. But he grew up in San Fernando, where the Valenzuela family lived.
Right.
And he says, I knew Bobby, he was a great mechanic. Oh man, Bobby could fix anything, man, So talking about all those things, but that was the birth, and Luis Valdez was influenced by all of this. And so we have, there's a living history that we can't forget, and that, in this movie, talking about the life.
I think we have a few more minutes, so let's kind of center what's going to happen March 28th, 29th, and 30th, end of the month, in downtown Oxnard, basically.
Well, this year we're very fortunate that the annual celebration to honor Cesar Chavez's legacy and to highlight the struggles of today is that we have an opportunity not only to march and to voice our thoughts about what campesinos need today, what we as citizens need today, but also to witness a movie on March the 28th, the grand opening, for the community to come and see it at 7:45 at the Plaza Theater or at the Collection or around the other community. It's going to be playing nationwide on the 28th, but our focus is going to be here in Oxnard at the Plaza Cinema on the 28th. On the 29th, we're focusing on having 3 auditoriums being reserved thanks to the sponsorship of different community people out in our community who are paying for the special screenings so that we can give away freely to our students in the elementary and junior and high school to come in, and also college students to come in and observe this movie, but not only to observe it, but also to dialogue, to have a special dialogue afterwards. So that's going to be on Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning. So if you're a student, you're out there, and you haven't gotten your ticket, we're trying to reach out to the Colonia area students, from Rose Avenue, Juan Cesar Chavez School, as well as Ramona School, Frank School, and then also the Ocean View School District. We're inviting them, and plus LULAC, thanks to Sal Medina, we're able to get high school students to come and see this film. And then on Sunday, it's going to be our grand red carpet period where we're going to have a showcase starting from the march in La Colonia, starting from at 10 o'clock in the morning and marching over to the Plaza Theater, downtown Oxnard, and for them to see the movie at 11:45. In between 11 and 11:45, we're going to have special guest MCs as well as speakers. We're hoping to secure, we haven't gotten the final keyword yet from Dolores Huerta and Art Rodriguez, the president of the UFW, and also for sure we have somebody from the Chavez family coming, and as well as a couple of the actors from the movie are going to be here. One of them in particular, that plays the role of the brother of Cesar Chavez, Richard Chavez. The actor lives here in Oxnard, and we were able to talk to him and convince him to join us on that particular day. So we have an exciting program for our community to not only dialogue with each other, to be able to bring in, campesino children and your parents and brothers and sisters, but to experience what the march was, and for people to take it one step beyond, and that is, to march, have your huelga flag, and then finally see the screen and see the extras in that movie carrying the huelga flags. A lot of us have been doing it since the death of Cesar Chavez, and some of us have done it even before his death, when we were out there at, like myself, when I was in Northridge. We fell in love with the fact that, hey, we were going to support the UFW. That was one of our causes. And we discovered that our university was selling non-union lettuce, that we, 10 of us, 10 mechistas, joined together, and we went on a hunger strike. We were on a hunger strike for 10 days in our school. Out in the quad, we were sleeping in tents and drinking water just like Cesar. And Christmas was just around the corner, and Christmas break was about to happen. And the university finally caved in because they didn't want to have the liability of us staying there, boycotting during the time that the campus was closed. So if something happened to somebody, they did not want to take responsibility.
Okay, Javier, just to delineate specifically like for Friday, okay, the movie starts at 7:45. What happens before? How do we set up?
We're gonna meet at the UFW office at 920 South A Street. Okay, there's gonna be a little carne asada over there for some of those.
That's at what time you're gonna meet?
At between 5 and 6:30, because right afterwards we're gonna march and we're gonna go right to the Plaza Theater.
Straight shot on A Street.
Straight down, yeah, and go right into the movie.
Okay, no speakers or anything at the theater? No.
Hopefully we'll have somebody speaking over them. That will probably be the regional director, Roman Pinal, who will be there, and plus some of the farm workers who will be there. And we do have students from the different elementary and junior and high schools that are going to do some speeches. Right now I have my compadre doing that.
Okay. Number 2, Saturday says movie at 9 a.m. 9
Yes.
a.m. What's the setup time? What's the...
Setup time is we're just going to meet at the theater.
there's
No march.
Okay.
We're going to meet right at the theater and just file in.
So you're telling people that are going to participate to be there by 8:30, no
Yeah,
later?
8:30. We'll have entertainment outside.
Okay.
Each day we're going to have on the quad. We're going to have mariachi to receive the campesinos and the people coming on Friday. And Saturday morning we're going to have folklorico out there as well.
Okay. Now Sunday says March starts at 10 a.m. So what's the setup time there?
The setup time is in Colonia, right in front of Cesar Chavez's school,
Juanita Street.
on Juanita Street, where the bust of Cesar Chavez is at. And then from there, we're gonna go around past Cesar Chavez's house, down Colonia Road,
Or Garfield.
Garfield and Colonia, yes. And we'll pass by his house, and then we'll end up at the Plaza Theater. And
Going to go over the bridge
over the bridge
and then
down A Street
and
and left on right on Fifth Street. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
And then for the VIP element of this, which is taking place where?
Well, the VIP is for those individuals who are going to buy, who really are our supporters. We're going to have a special VIP reception that's going to cost $100 for people that want to support us.
Where at?
And those individuals that have their VIP ticket will, we're inviting them to march. We're inviting them to see the movie. Right after the movie, we're going to go to Ruby's Cafe, and we're going to have a special on A Street. On Oxnard Boulevard, 4th and Oxnard. 4th and Oxnard.
In front of the railroad station, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So, okay, so that's going to be approximately...
At 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
And last at least a couple hours?
Yeah,
3 hours?
about 3 hours. We're going to meet, talk, mingle, and get to meet the stars and talk to the people and go with that.
Okay. Sounds like a winner. I plan to be there.
Well,
And I'm going to buy a $100
well,
ticket myself.
as a matter of
In fact,
fact,
he has one.
I got the tickets right here.
Oh, I got to put my money where my mouth is.
Okay.
Right? Jesus.
I got Danny's ticket already, so I'll let you know. And the tickets are also a special.
Let's do this official. I think I have $100 on.
All right, this is official. Okay, and it says VIP. This is for Danny Contrares, and I'll even write his number down. So
You know what? This is divine intervention. I just happen to have 5 20s. I didn't have.
Okay.
I had about 10 this morning, but I've been doing a little shopping.
But
Javier.
we're looking for people that have the corazón, that have the heart, to understand that the money that you're giving is going to be for a special cause, and that is the UFW stands to lose its office if we don't support it. We have campesino children who don't have scholarships that are being earmarked for them, and we want to ensure that this fundraiser that we're doing, especially for those two causes, the scholarships for campesino children and for maintaining the services that the UFW so vitally needs in this area, you know.
You want to give, you want to be good.
I had an interesting talk
So-
with somebody, Danny, just for you. An alumni have to support. They have to help our campesino children.
Right.
Because, you know, you and I are the benefactors of all the years of struggle as well.
Yeah, in a sense, in a sense. And there's a really special bag that was produced. It's called, Did You Eat Today? Thank a Farm Worker. Yes, indeed. Hallelujah. Alabrava, a huevo ranchero. A huevo ranchero.